In the heart of the Third Reich, long before the horrors of the concentration camps became widely known, a sinister program was already underway. This was Action T4, the Nazi euthanasia program targeting those deemed unworthy of life. The program, cloaked in secrecy and justified by twisted pseudoscience, saw the systematic murder of thousands of disabled people. Hospitals and institutions became places of terror, with doctors transformed into executioners.
The Catholic Church, though initially hesitant, emerged as a voice of defiance against the program. Figures like Bishop Clemens August Graf von Galen publicly condemned the killings, challenging the Nazi regime's claim to moral authority. Galen's sermons, distributed widely, exposed the barbarity of the program and stirred the conscience of a nation.
The Church's resistance, though ultimately unable to halt the program, provided a beacon of hope in an increasingly dark time. The euthanasia program, while later officially halted due to public pressure, served as a chilling precursor to the horrors to come. The methods perfected in its execution, the gas chambers, the crematoria, would later be employed on an industrial scale in the death camps. The program revealed the Nazi regime's utter disregard for human life and foreshadowed the genocidal mania that would engulf Europe. The legacy of Action T4 serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of moral courage in the face of evil. It is a testament to the human capacity for both unimaginable cruelty and extraordinary compassion. The systematic extermination of Jews, the Holocaust, stands as perhaps the most horrifying testament to human cruelty in history. Driven by a toxic brew of anti-Semitism, racial hygiene theories, and a lust for power, the Nazi regime embarked on a campaign of unimaginable brutality. From the ghettos of Warsaw to the death camps of Auschwitz-Birkenau, millions of innocent people were murdered.
The treatment of Russian prisoners of war further underscores the depths of Nazi barbarity. Captured soldiers, seen as subhuman, were subjected to unimaginable cruelty. Starvation, disease, and overwork were rampant in the POW camps, turning them into veritable death traps.
The sheer scale of the atrocities committed against both Jews and Russian POWs is staggering. While the exact extent of the German population's knowledge of these crimes remains a subject of debate, it is clear that many were aware of the regime's brutal actions. Rumors of mass killings circulated, and the constant deportations of Jews and other minorities were difficult to ignore. Yet, a culture of fear, coupled with propaganda and a sense of national unity, prevented widespread opposition. The atrocities committed during the Holocaust and against Russian POWs are a stain on human history. They serve as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked hatred and the need for constant vigilance against all forms of intolerance and discrimination. The year 1942 marked a turning point in the war, and the myth of German invincibility began to crumble. The Battle of Stalingrad, a brutal, months-long siege, ended in a decisive Soviet victory. This defeat, a crushing blow to German morale, shattered Hitler's aura of invincibility and exposed the limitations of the Wehrmacht.
In North Africa, the Western Allies, led by General Montgomery, inflicted a series of defeats on Rommel's Afrika Korps, culminating in the decisive victory at El Alamein. This victory effectively ended the Axis threat to Egypt and the Suez Canal, paving the way for the Allied invasion of Italy.
The Allied landings in Normandy on June 6, 1944, marked the beginning of the end for the Third Reich. Despite heavy losses, the Allies established a foothold in France, opening up a second front against Germany. The liberation of Paris in August 1944 further demoralized the Germans and signaled the inevitable collapse of the Nazi regime. These consecutive defeats exposed the flaws in Hitler's strategic thinking and the overextension of German forces. The tide of war had turned, and the relentless advance of the Allies from both East and West signaled the approaching downfall of the Third Reich.
As the Allies closed in on Berlin, Hitler retreated to his underground bunker, his grip on reality slipping. Refusing to accept the inevitability of defeat, he clung to delusions of miracle weapons and last-minute victories. His fanatical belief in his own destiny, coupled with a chilling disregard for the suffering of the German people, led him to issue increasingly irrational orders.
Even as Soviet shells rained down on Berlin and the city lay in ruins, many Germans remained fiercely loyal to the Führer. Fueled by years of propaganda and indoctrination, they fought on with a desperate fanaticism. The streets of Berlin became a battleground, littered with the bodies of soldiers and civilians alike. On April 30th, 1945, with Soviet troops just meters from his bunker, Hitler committed suicide. His death marked the final ignominious end of the Third Reich. Germany, reduced to rubble and morally bankrupt, was left to confront the consequences of its actions. The fall of Berlin and Hitler's suicide serve as a stark reminder of the human cost of tyranny and the dangers of unchecked ideology. It is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of hope even in the darkest of times.